There was more green when I cut them open, but they are very airborne and they'll get in the air, and you could see the green cloud just like stay in the air, and you gotta blow it away. So half of the, or some of the green rust, it's already gone. The closer you get, and I cleaned the tip with lemon, see if I could salvage it, but I thought I'd go deeper, and as you can see, the deeper I went, it's still green, and it's on the underside of the wire. It's like moisture was able to go through the just the bottom, and like it wickered the water. So I'm gonna cut some more, see what I get. See more of that greenness, and it's in the loom. If you unwind every individual loom, you'll probably find more rust. So if I unwind this, you'll find a lot just high. You see how it looks like the whole thing is involved now? See, like every fiber is involved, and it's deep in there. But in some ends, it looks good, so it's kind of deceiving. So on the top, it looks good, but when you open it and you look at the bottom, yeah, it's deep in there. So I just cut down 3 more inches. So I have half of a wire, 3 more inches. I can cut down 3 more inches and see how that goes. And if it's rusted towards there, I'm gonna replace the whole thing. I got a feet into the loom, and it looks like I can sort of use it. I see no green anymore, but I still do see some, like, how would I say, it's less shiny. It's just dull when I flipped it over, and when I try to open each individual strand or undo each bundle, I don't see any greens, and it's really shiny, and then when I flip it over it gets dull, but there's no green. So I think we're good to go, because you might say I'm a chicken, but cutting up just a feet into here, it takes like hours, just trying to cut the tape without cutting the wires. So it's very meticulous work, and I'm like planking over the car right now, because you know we're mid-ship right now, so it's very hard. So this is very intensive, and I can't get to like 3 sensors tucked inside the intake manifold. It's like a freaking trying to put your hand in like a fallopian tube, and curled, and then is wound in there, and it's just hard to get into. So I'm just gonna call it. I'm just gonna cut it, and we're 1 feet deep into it already. I'm just gonna cut it, resolder the other tip, and the other end where it goes to that box. It looks decent enough, the exposed area. And on this end, it was completely, I'll put a picture in it, it was completely green. So it looked like penicillin mold. It's just green, but so this is good enough. It got better, so I'm gonna reuse it. I'm gonna use some of this flock solder. It was pink when I bought it. Cover looks like something like that. I use it because it helps bind the solder to the wire, especially if it's rusty, which in this case it is. So it'll struggle to stick on there. So I'll do a few. I got 7. They usually say heat the wire, but that never works for me. So I just heat it directly onto I just heat the solder itself, melt it onto the soldering iron, and then it goes that way. See how quick that was? Just I like to just twine them together. And this way I have a lot of area of contact I can solder it through, so I could create a big joint. You don't necessarily need a big joint, but I want this to be strong and last. Use the butt connectors, that'll work too, but this is what I have. It's a little more toxic than a butt connector. Butt connectors are quick, to the point, but I feel like they take about the same amount of time just to do. So I just tie them together like that. Put on your flock solder. Maybe I should try it without it first, huh? Yeah, see how that does. But it makes it a lot faster though when you use the flock solder, but let's try one without. And again, it's always awkward. It's always awkward just to weld something in the car. Imagine doing it with the camera set up like that. Also, see, it's so awkward. I'm like left hand soldering, which I usually don't do. So let me see if I could better control that switch. So it's sticking well, actually, but not as well. It melts like instantly with flock solder. Oh, yeah, it's not going as well. So I'm gonna put some soldering pudding on here. This will take, if you wonder how this stuff works, I don't know, but I feel upon use, I feel like it dispersed the heat really well. It's just sticking now. You're supposed to use a fan to blow away the fumes. It's quite toxic, and you'll be very irritated once you're done. In just like 30 minutes, you'll be really irritated. Your eyes especially will be irritated. Whew, that toxic smell. Boy, they smell good going in, but they're not good in your body. All right, they look pretty easy, so I'll just stop this soldering there.